Hello and welcome to the Grapple YouTube. I'm Matty Edwards, and this is the first of hopefully many videos of Matty's predictions here on the YouTube channel. And yes, I am here this first time to talk WWE WrestlePalooza 2025. It's this Saturday, August 20th, from Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I just want to, just talk of go through the whole card and give you me predictions, me thoughts, and see hopefully what can happen afterwards as well as the pay-per-view goes off the air. If we get any stories, that's what I'm more concerned about, and what I want to see is more stories coming out of this, and hopefully the creative can. This is the start for me, really. I know I'm going all over the place here. Bear with me, guys. It's me first preview and prediction video on my own, so you will get used to me just veering off and going all over the place. I'm sure listeners are Grapple are used to that by now, but it's one of them for me at the minute. Ever since SummerSlam, I think, but you can even go further back, even for the debut of Netflix, pretty much the most of 2025. But I mean, I hit a point at SummerSlam where I realised it's just become a bit stale, a bit predictable, a bit lazy, dare I say, WWE at the minute. There's just no oomph, there's no spark. We just need that back. Like for me, it's the segments like that you're seeing on Raw and SmackDown, by one or two. Like I always say, you're going to get your characters, and the company itself will always, get long-time fans like myself through and have that bit of hope and optimism, especially some of the characters that are there. But top to bottom, it's really lacking at the minute, creativity-wise. But hopefully, coming out of this, we get some. But it's ever since SummerSlam, and once again, this ties in with all these shows we've had. Like, it feels like we've had a show every 2 and 3 weeks. Apart from the PLEs, we're getting Saturday night's main events. We've had Evolution in there. There just seems to be a lot going on the past few months. So hopefully it can settle down at this, and hopefully, once again, me being that hopeful, optimistic person that I am, we can all start afresh at this event, and we can crack on into the autumn and winter months and finally get round to Rumble and WrestleMania, where usually it does all come up creativity-wise again, positively in that regard. But yeah, we'll go through the card, top to bottom. And before we go through the matches, I'd say overall as a collective, for Triple H's way of booking these 5-match pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever you want to call them these days, I think this is the one top to bottom where it's the big one. Like, he's always had criticism, on the last few ones where, with them said events there, like Saturday night's main event, you'll have, like, when Jey Uso was champion, he might be on the Saturday night's main event and then left off one, or Cody Rhodes or whoever it may be. You won't get all your big stars aligning being on this top to bottom, but I think this is the first one, and obviously they want to stack it with it being the first ESPN / going up on the same day as AEW, that they want to stack this one and put all the big guns on there, and I think they have overall. So that gives me more optimism for this one, that if anything, it should deliver on the grandeur and the spectacle, and having all your big stars on this pay-per-view PLE. So I've got to get used to that. I'm still, as a Fed Pill guy, I should be saying PLE, but I am old school in my ways and probably will slip up on that regard. So once again, bear with me, viewers. But yeah, as I say, overall, collectively, a really solid card that they could put on, and we will break the card down. So we'll start off with the first match on the list here, and it's Io Sky going up against Stephanie Vaquer for the vacant WWE World's Women's Championship. And this goes all the way back to Evolution, like I said there, with all these shows coming thick and fast, where Stephanie Vaquer won a women's battle royal to earn a shot at Clash in Paris. That was where this was originally gonna happen, but obviously with all the stuff happening with Naomi and her pregnancy, it was revealed obviously that she had to relinquish the title. We go back to SummerSlam, even where Io Sky was involved in a triple threat match with Naomi. She didn't get pinned. She was going to go up against Naomi on an episode of Raw, but obviously that lent into with Naomi, as I say, relinquishing the title because of her pregnancy. So we've ended up with this match, really, and overall, I'd say it's a better match. Naomi was doing some good work as more character-wise and getting herself over to a big degree as 2025's unfolded, and she's been doing some good work and deserved the title run, I would say. But as a match, I mean, this is way better than anything with Naomi, and for me, and that, once again, that's not a slight on Naomi in any way, but these two are two, like, premier women's workers in WWE. And Stephanie Vaquer has been like, I mean, I obviously seen her live over WrestleMania weekend, lucky enough to be there in person. She was on the NXT show, and just everything about her, you know, just a full package, from the music, the entrance, the presentation, the way she carries herself, the in-ring work as well, the overness. She's one that I'm very, very, very high on this year, and I think they've managed to keep her over to this degree and still treat it as that big deal. Io Sky, I mean, what a year she's had from an all-round point of view as well, especially the in-ring stuff with Io, like WrestleMania, once again, lucky enough to be there, and what a triple threat match that was with Rhea and Bianca opening night too. That was incredible stuff. So yeah, she's had an unbelievable year, and it's just like, and these cross paths, you know, once again, keep saying it. Yeah, I was at WrestleMania weekend, and I'm happy. Sorry for going on about that, but it was my first WrestleMania weekend, so I can't go on about that on these videos. I'm sure I will. But I seen this match the night after WrestleMania when Stephanie come out and confronted the Sky. So we got a little match there and a preview to what they can do on pay-per-view. And we're 7 months down the line, and we're finally getting it. And it's exciting. It's a big match. I'm excited for it. I'm sure it will deliver. The fans will be banging into it. And I'm going to go with Stephanie Vaquer to go over. I mean, number one, she deserves it. As I say, they've been saving her for this crowning moment. I'm sure she was going to go over Naomi when that match was obviously on the table. And I think you might get shenanigans, unfortunately, in a way, with the stuff that they're building with Asuka and Io Sky. So you might get shenanigans, and Asuka might cost Io and stuff like that. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen, but hopefully, you know, we get a clean finish here. We get Stephanie getting their crowning moment, and we'll be off to the races with Stephanie Vaquer as your new women's world champion there. So I'll go with Stephanie as my first prediction of the night in a banging match as well. I'm expecting this to deliver and then some. We move on to match number 2 I've got written down here, and it's, as Grapple listeners will well be aware, the Usos, I'm over the moon, the Usos are back together. You can always throw them back together, and I know people might say it's an easy cop-out, but with especially the last 5 years' work with the story of the bloodline, etc., you know, it can always be split up, get back together, fall. It's families at the end of the day. I'm sick of defending this, you know, all the time. It's families. I mean, everyone out there, I'm sure, who's got siblings, has had an argument with the brother or sister, or even your cousin. You fall out, you make up, you don't want to see them for a bit, you go for a coffee, you know what I mean? It's typical families, and that's what we're getting with the bloodline. But yeah, it's the Usos back together. I should say who they're wrestling on this PLE. It is the team of Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, the Vision, the Bronze, the Bronsons, whatever you want to label them as. I'll go with the Bronze in this one. But yeah, big tag team match on this, and it's more been about Jey Uso going into this, hasn't it? Really, where, you know, coming off, he was one of the Seth's opponents. Obviously, going back to SummerSlam, even when him and Roman did beat the Bronze in a tag match. You've had them, Jey, then at the Clash in Paris, going up against Seth as one of the challengers in the Fatal 4-Way. You had them carrying on that feud the next night with the Vision against the Bronze in a tag match with LA Knight, etc. And you had Jimmy Uso making the save after they delayed LA out and stuff. So you've had this burning, but then you've added the little wrinkle of like the past few weeks of, is Jey Uso finally, well, not finally, but like turning back heel, or he's got them heelish tendencies. He doesn't give a damn about LA Knight at the minute, laying him out left, right, and center. You had that backstage conversation with Roman a few weeks back where Roman's still that devil on Jay's shoulder. He still can't shake him off after the years of him being that devil on his shoulder in the bloodline. So many years worth of that. So I love that little wrinkle they're doing at the minute. Obviously, LA Knight retorted on Raw this past week with laying Jey out. So you've got that going into it. And as I say, it's inbuilt in the Vision storyline. So it's a nice little side story there with LA Knight as well. And obviously Jey Uso's character. But I'm expecting, once again, the Bronze to go over in this one. Maybe LA Knight getting involved, or Jimmy and Jey miscommunication. It's just all playing into Jay's position after this one. So I'm going for the Bronze to win this one in a good match, but more story laden than this one, which I can't really speak highly enough, and I'm really looking forward to this one. And involving, as I say, the bloodline and the Usos. Long-time listeners and viewers of Grapple will be knowing well up for a bit of story, capital letters. So hopefully it can continue, and we move on to the next match on the PLE, which we've got down as what we go into here? I'll go into I just because I know Benno, my fellow, the grapple stalwart and host and leader of our establishment, will not be happy that I'm choosing Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre to predict third on the show here. But yeah, it's Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, the undisputed WWE Championship. And once again, this was pretty much shot the angle a few weeks back, didn't he? When it was I've been saying about the creativity being a bit lazy, and I just want something a little bit fresh and a little bit different. Even it doesn't have to be groundbreaking, as I keep saying. Wrestling's a cyclical business, isn't it? We've seen everything. We've seen every angle under the sun. And then some. It's a repetitive business in many ways, as I say. But I just want something just slightly different, even. And a few weeks ago on SmackDown, I loved the Claymore that Drew McIntyre gave Cody Rhodes, where he Claymored them through the side of the announce table. As I say, just little spins, little touches like that are always going to get my big thumbs up there. I love that. I love that as a setup to write Cody, obviously, off TV while he's away filming his part in the upcoming Street Fighter movie, with what ensemble cast that is, with Jason Momoa, 50 Cent, Roman Reigns himself, Goto, obviously, of New Japan in there as well. So a great cast for that. Can't wait for that movie. But, and I say, as Cody was off TV, Drew doing his promos, obviously getting Randy Orton back in once again, intertwined with Drew over the summer with the Jelly Roll and Logan Paul stuff, obviously intertwined with Cody coming off the finals of the King of the Ring, and obviously the legacy law we can talk about. And I think we've all been, I'll say for myself, I've been waiting for this Cody Rhodes Randy Orton match. It seems like for a couple of years since Orton's come back, especially back end of 2023, and they've had teasers here and there, but I think this could be the way of getting into that. I think. And then obviously Cody come back as Drew was lining up for that Claymore through the announce table to Randy last week on SmackDown. Cody makes his heroic triumphant return, and we do get this championship match. And yeah, I think once again, these are my predictions here, and I'm expecting a few more shenanigans. This one, that's 3 for 3, I think, on the shenanigans / story side of this PLE. But I think Randy Orton gets involved, and I can't see Drew McIntyre winning this championship, but I think Randy Orton's going to get involved somehow, and if we're going full heel turn, I'm not too sure. We can hot shot that, hopefully, just to give something a bit of a spark going into the autumn and winter months. I'd be calling for that, really, but maybe with Triple H's way of booking this, and I say that as he's waited 2 years for this, and he's a snail-paced booker, isn't he? It probably will be another few months, so we might get some sort of confrontation or mix-up that doesn't lead to Drew winning, but it's enough to Cody to have it in his mind, and Randy Orton. So yeah, I think we're going to get something again, bit more story, bit more shenanigans. I'll go 3 for 3 for this, but I will go Cody Rhodes retaining the WWE Championship here over the Drew McIntyre. So yeah, expecting, I'd say, a lot more story in this one, and once again, a good match, a really good match. We'll go with Brock Lesnar and John Cena as fourth billing here, because I'm going to save the mixed tag for the main event, as it does deserve the billing as the main event for me. But John Cena, Brock Lesnar, where'd you start with this one? It was strictly speaking about on TV, and when Lesnar come back, it doesn't float my boat at all, really. We've done this a decade ago, and I know it's playing into like Cena's greatest hits of his rivals over his career, how it's panning out this retirement tour, but it just doesn't float me boat at all. Like, as I say, we've seen it in 2012 when Lesnar come back. We got a great Extreme Rules match then, and how you top on that, really. And I appreciate when they went back to it 2 years later at SummerSlam, where we got Suplex City was born. They had to try something different there and do a completely different match, because you couldn't top the 2 years previous. So I admire that they went a different way about it back then. But this is another 11 years later, and it really will be a greatest hits. And I can't even see it being, honestly, I really can't see it being that good. And that might shock a few people, but I really can't. It's going to be Cena for me. I've never been a Cena guy. Once again, long-time listeners will be aware of that. But he's won me over the last 2 pay-per-view matches against Cody and Logan Paul, because obviously after the botched heel run, which I did get a bit of a kick out of that, in a way of just seeing John Cena, the layout of the matches, and seeing John Cena on the on like cowering and just on the actual offense for a lot of the match. Because I've said it for years, I'd rather see him on the offense than on the defense, because he's one of the worst sellers for me of all time. That dead sell off Diggs just does me head in, the way he takes stuff on his ass as well. Not into that at all. And I just think we're going to go back after the two heroic matches for me personally. I think it's Cody and Logan Paul, where he's given us all. It's the old Cena, it's Super Cena, which I hated. But I get it at this late stage of the game, and especially in the real life terms, if he probably does think it was botched, that heel turn, and he wants to give everything on his way out, which I respect. But I don't think we're going to get none of that here. I think we're just going to get John Cena selling for 20 minutes, making Lesnar look like the monster, of course. And as I said, I'm willing to be completely shocked by this. I'm willing to be completely turned by this on the night. I'm guessing the fans will be into it, of course, but I haven't got hopes for this one at all, and I'm very, very down on this one. And the build itself, I mean, it's been, keep saying about the lack of creativity and laziness. It comes from just Lesnar coming out. Once again, it feels like rinse repeat, coming out of SummerSlam, laying Cena out, not airing it, and then he coming out again in the great Cena and Sami Zayn match. Cena's last appearance on SmackDown, just a couple of F5s, and backstage I'll see it at the pay-per-view. It's just phoned in, lazy to me. There's no oomph to it at all. There hasn't been a face-to-face, really, promo-wise. We've had a good video package, of course. You're going to get that with WWE, the great video packages. But once again, it's not enough. It's not enough for me. If you want to treat it, I'm guessing they're thinking the 2 stars themselves will sell this match. And in a way, probably they're right. But I just wanted a bit more on TV for this one. So, yeah, once again, not really looking forward to it. Willing to be shocked and hold my hands up on when I'm on Grapple next to say, listen, I was completely wrong about this, but really haven't got hopes for this one. And probably the only match on the card that I'm really negative on, really. So, yeah, that's match number 4 covered. And for me, match number 5 should be the main event. It's the one that's got the most, for me, the most reactions in the building. The one that's been on TV, mainly carrying the TV over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And that's the mixed tag team match of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch against CM Punk and AJ Lee. And this, as I say, this has been brilliant for me, really has. This is like, and I've liked the way, I know Seth and Becky aren't everyone's cup of tea, and it's they get slated on screen of being a bit too much, etc., or not having that chemistry that you'd expect a real life husband and wife to have. But I think, especially Becky, and once again, I'm not Becky's biggest fan overall, but I think she's lent into this old school heel, and she sold AJ Lee coming back really well. I think we've had a couple of segments, once again, not the most groundbreaking of segments, but a bit different than one we've been getting saved with AJ, once again, flip-flop and everything. But I enjoyed that segment of the one after AJ returned, where she had the IC belt on and literally just laid it down old school, like, if you want this, come in and get it. And I thought Becky was great in being that chicken shit old school heel and not wanting to get in there and confront her when she was obviously face-to-face with her. But that comes after, obviously, AJ Lee making a big return after 10 years away from WWE, and what a reaction it was in Chicago. Obviously, she was going to get that big reaction, but really, really, really good to see her back, I think. And this obviously plays into CM Punk as well. Like, obviously having the time of his life seeing his wife come back, and it gives that extra little wrinkle again to Seth and CM Punk, because I know a lot of people are getting bored of, like, this feud must continue with Seth and CM Punk, but it gives it that added little X factor, a reasoning for it to continue adding the wives into it, etc. And once again, after this mixed tag match, you can have the 2 singles matches. Obviously, AJ versus Becky for the IC belt, and then Seth and Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. Yet Seth Rollins is the World Heavyweight Champion. I think people, I don't know, either forget or want to forget that Seth Rollins is the World Heavyweight Champion at this point. But yeah, as I say, been built so very good. Fans will be into this one really, really well. And as I say, just good to see AJ Lee back. And she's finding her feet in the promos, but I like it the way she's been handling these promos and reacting to the fans and being a bit awkward and being a bit in character more like she was and finding her feet again. I think that's all very much acceptable after a decade away. So I'm really looking forward to this one. As I say, expecting this one to be a clean finish as well. And I'm sorry, I didn't even give you me opinions on my predictions for Cena and Lesnar at the end, because I say I'm not really that into it, but I will say probably Cena goes over after a heroic match. But once again, it wouldn't shock me if Brock Lesnar gets that win. Sorry for even glossing over that finish there. That's how much I'm really not looking forward to that. But yeah, back to the mixed tag main event. I'd say it's got to be AJ and Punk going over here. I think, as I say, it just sets that perfectly up. The mixed tag win leads to your 2 title matches as singles, and then you can obviously have which way you want to go there. The heels getting the sneaky wins in the singles matches, or you can crown 2 new champions on the night. You can go a lot of ways with that. So I'm expecting no shenanigans now. And that's another thing I've liked about this with Seth and Becky teaming up. It's kept them away from the bronze in a way. You know, it's not, it was getting too much, like it was getting so stale. The Vision laying all the faces out at the end of Raws with the stomps every week. I'm sick of seeing that stomps at every baby face under the sun. It was doing my head in. So at least it's keeping them away from that, letting the bronze get their own mic time, especially with Heyman being off TV as well after Roman put them out. Let them get their own mic time. Let them get them own organically over. You don't need to rely on Seth and Paul to get the heat for them. Let them get their own heat by the wrestling and getting mic time. So I'm all for that. So it's a win-win all around for me. You're getting a good program on the top. You're letting the bronze shine as well underneath. So it's a win-win, and I'm expecting a good match, good heated match for this one. And as I say, AJ Lee and CM Punk to go over. So overall, you know, my expectations for this one are pretty high. I'm expecting a lot of shenanigans, a lot of story. I'm expecting one match that's not going to be great. I'm expecting the other 4 to deliver in there and the story-wise coming out of it. So, yeah, I'm quite happy, quite bullish on this pay-per-view. We'll be watching AEW All Out as the lead-in. The perfect thing, just something will try and keep me awake before the real stuff happens. I think it's midnight start time as well for saying that. If AEW starts at 8 p.m, AEW will still only be halfway through at that point, won't they? With it being usually a 7-hour show. So yeah, I'll probably see most of AEW All Out. But yeah, as I say, got expectations for this one. Hopefully they're not blind expectations. And as I said at the start of this video, I live in hope. So either way, no matter what pay-per-view PLE comes up with WWE, I've always got that hope, but I have got that, because it's the first one on ESPN as well, the obvious thing to say, they'll want to make this quite memorable as well, won't they? Hence why they've stacked the card as well. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for my first video. Once again, sorry if I flip-flopped all over the place, YouTube viewers, but you probably will get that with me no matter how many times. I know this is my first video, but no matter how many times I do these, and will hopefully get comfortable one day doing this, you will get that with me. I can't help it. That's just the way I am and react. But yeah, really enjoyed hopefully doing this video. Hopefully everyone has a good time listening to these predictions. If anyone wants to leave the predictions in the comments, of course, leave your predictions there, and I'll be fascinated to read your thoughts and expectations on this pay-per-view. If you're looking forward to it, just any comment, leave it below. Obviously, give us that subscribe and like, you know, hit them buttons on there, because we want to grow this YouTube channel, hence these videos, because it's where it's at, YouTube, I think. And I do like watching other previews and predictions, so hopefully it gets in with all those. And as I say, I've been Matty Edwards. This has been the Grapple YouTube for WrestlePalooza 2025. I hope you've had a good time. I hope you have a good time Saturday night. And yes, we will see you again on the next one. Ta-da.